Are your kids getting enough sleep during the school year? Joining us to talk about your health is Dr. Anayansi Lasso-Pirot, Division Head of Pediatric Pulmonology, Allergy and Sleep Medicine at the University of Maryland Children's Hospital and Associate Professor of Pediatrics at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Doctor, we're so glad you could join us. We see a lot of school systems making little schedule changes, particularly for high school students, in the interest of getting them a little bit more sleep. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a very good idea in the sense that it is a frequent problem for children not to get enough sleep. Teenagers in particular tend to have a lot of issues with that. And so getting a schedule that provides a little bit of extra sleep for children is actually very important.
Do kids need more sleep than adults, or maybe do they need it a little bit more?
Definitely so. Kids need more sleep than adults, no question. In fact, sleep needs are based on age. So we are familiar with babies, for example, sleeping many hours a day. You know, babies basically eat and sleep when they're born, and that's it. And as they grow, the number of hours needed decreases, but definitely it decreases slowly. And what I think a lot of people miss is the fact that even teenagers need a very good amount of sleep to perform appropriately.
And if they don't get it, what happens?
There is issues with performance in school, more difficulties with behavior. You know, we can think of that impacting all aspects of their life, from just regular performance, like I said, in school, performing at the time of test, and also definitely, for example, something that worries me in particular is driving. So definitely it can have a huge impact in the life of a kid.
Absolutely. What do you do in this situation where we're a few days or a week from back to school, the alarm clock's going to go off? Maybe, hopefully, they've had a relaxing summer. They maybe stayed up a little bit late. They maybe slept in the morning, but suddenly you've got to get them back on schedule. Do you just do it cold turkey, or do you try to shift your schedule maybe half an hour a day over a period of several days?
I would suggest shifting the schedule slowly over a week or so that they're not going to bed as late as they were during the summer. And I would assume that many children, particularly older children and teenagers, are definitely going to sleep pretty late during the summer, so that they get their sleep hours a little bit earlier every day, and then waking them up a little bit earlier as well. So trying to get them to adapt as you would if, for example, you were traveling overseas.
Talk, if you would, about the use of technology before bedtime. The high schoolers may have a cell phone. They may be able to use it. There's a couple issues. One is you're getting mentally keyed up with whatever's going on social media. Two, it's something about like the light from the phone. Tell us about that.
I would actually think of it not so much as only phone, but screen time, screen light, which includes phones, tablets, computers, TV. And so there is a blue light that comes out of those devices that is interpreted as daylight, if you will, by the brain. And so that creates an abnormal perception of daytime for our brains, and so it makes it hard to sleep. So in general, the recommendation is to try not to be on a device for the hour or two before bed, so that our brain can get into a better state, if you will, for sleep.
I know there's a device called a book. There's no blue light comes out of it. It's great. Tell us about your work. You run a sleep clinic for children. What sort of problems do you handle there?
because I'm a pediatric pulmonologist and the main thing I do in sleep is take care of kids with obstructive sleep apnea, what we do is evaluate for that and manage it. So that's a very particular topic in sleep medicine, where children have issues with obstruction of their airway during sleep. And we diagnose it, we treat it. In terms of other sleep disorders, what I would say all pediatricians, including myself, see very frequently is the issue of kids not sleeping enough. So enough hours, basically.
Is that a matter of having trouble getting to sleep?
I would say two things. One is getting to sleep for children that have been exposed to devices or just, practicing sports, for example, till very late, and so are very active. Their brain is very active at night, and so have a hard time falling asleep. And because they have to wake up early during the school year, they basically don't get the number of hours they need. And in general, I would say the issue is falling asleep because of that, and in some kids having some issues waking up in the middle of the night. But I would say that the main problem is really not getting enough sleep because they go to bed late.
How do parents know if there's a sleep issue that is routine or normal or maybe temporary, or that it's something they need to discuss with their doctor and maybe a specialist?
My suggestion is to think of it as if the kid is trying to sleep and not being able to sleep. So if you have a teenager who's turning off the lights, trying to go to bed, and they're just in bed, sitting, not doing anything and not falling asleep, I would worry about that child having a true insomnia problem. Or if during the night they're waking up, either because they can't sleep or because they have problem breathing during sleep, those are kids where I would connect with the doctors and basically think of it as a condition that needs to be diagnosed. The other problem in kind of contraposition is really the issue of, like I said, not wanting to go to bed or not even trying, still being on the computer till very late or on the phone until very late.
I just have time for a sentence or two on this, but is it true that there are actually night owls and early birds? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, I think it is definitely something real, but it's controversial. There is probably, for sure, some people that seem to be a little bit more in tune with their work and do better at night.
Doctor, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Ana Lasso-Pirot, University of Maryland's Children's Hospital. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation.